and welcome to the Un-American Football Show weekly prediction episode. Today we're down a Ross, but we've regained a Nate. How are you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not back to 100% yet. I've still got my course of antibiotics that I'm running through, and I will probably cough my way through this episode and the episode later. But I'm excited to be back talking about football.
Yeah, great to have you back. And obviously we missed you talking about the Colts last week, the big game.
Don't know what you mean. I never mentioned the Colts.
Yeah, we'll have a look at how we did last week, as well as look forward to the Week 9 action, which looked like an interesting week to come as well. So let's go have a look at Week 8. So on Thursday Night Football, we had the Packers at Cardinals, with the Packers winning 24-21. We had and we all got that wrong. We all backed the Cardinals. So, they're undefeated. I think we can be forgiven that one.
I got the Packers score, right? I said they'd score 24.
You did, yeah. You did. And in fact,
we need to start getting bonus points for just predicting half of the result right, I think.
Maybe. Well, Ross actually got the score completely correct, except for he had the Cardinals winning 24-21, which is a good effort. Then we had Sunday 5 p.m. We had Titans at Colts, and the Titans won in overtime 34-31. That was a real barn burner of a game. You probably hated it, but for a neutral, it was a good game.
I tweeted the Colts, and I even tweeted Joe Mersey, saying, "Lads, I've got pneumonia. Do you mind?" Honestly, I was so stressed for the entire game. We went 14-0 up, and I'm in a group chat with a couple of Titans fans, Greg and Adam, who have been on the show before, and I was just like, we will lose this game. As soon as that second touchdown went in, I was like, we're going to lose this game because we can't manage games, and it's exactly what happened. Fucking sick.
I say it was still unbelievably close. This isn't the place for us to digest, go headfirst into this game, and we'll do that on the weekly podcast. But there was definitely some questionable decisions made by one Carson Wentz, amongst other things. But so Nate, you backed the Colts, and both Ross and I backed the Titans for one score game, so we got those right, as well as a bonus point for the margin. Then Sunday 8:25, we had. This was a horrible, horrible game. One of the worst games you could watch of the week. Washington,
which I called. I did say it would be shit.
You did. Well, I don't think anyone expected it to be a spectacle, but I'm not sure we all expected it to be quite this bad. Washington lost this one against the Broncos, 10-17. Nate, you were pretty close to your predictions in the teens, although you went for Washington. I also went for Washington, and Ross was correct that it was also in the teens, but we had the Broncos, so Ross gets 2 points there for the margin and for the correct winner. It was just disgusting.
Everything that you like. If they say things like, when there's been a great game, maybe the Colts Titans for a neutral, that would be quite interesting. If you want to show someone entertaining game of football, watch this. This is the opposite of that. If you wanted to prove your point that this game is shit, that's the game you show people, and they'll be like, I am never watching that. 3 hours of this nonsense. Honestly, 27 points in 3 hours is embarrassing. Honestly, disgusting.
I bet some people made some good money on how low scoring that game was. It was horrible. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we had Dallas Cowboys at Minnesota Vikings. The Cowboys winning this late, 20-16. Ross went for the Vikings, which, as the week went on, looked like a great shout, with Dak Prescott looking less and less likely to play. He eventually didn't play. However, despite that, who needs him? Right. Cooper Rush is the man. Cowboys win.
Franchise quarterback.
Nate and I both got that correct, but not the margin.
No. I assumed that Dak would be back, which is why my margin was almost double. I thought the Cowboys would run away with it. Fantasy-wise, I'm glad that things worked out the way they did, because Amari Cooper got more of the ball than he usually does. It was nice. It worked out a treat for me.
unusual as well. He doesn't usually show up on the road as much as he does at home, but I guess that's one of those things. Different quarterback, trust
Dak
different
obviously doesn't
players.
like Amari very much.
I'm not necessarily sure he likes that, but everyone likes the new toy, don't they? And CD Lamb's the new
Jesus
toy
Christ.
In the offense. Then, last but not least, this was a weird game. We had the Giants at the Chiefs, with the Chiefs winning 17 points to 20. It's hard to believe that in 2021 the Chiefs are only 3 points better than the New York Giants without Saquon Barkley.
The thing is with the Giants, right? Danny Dimes is one of those players that he will win you a lot of points, but you can't quite rely on him to win a game. So most of the Giants games, I think they're going to be pretty close affairs. Most, not all, most of the Giants games, they're going to be pretty close affairs. But Danny Dimes, he's just too. It's a bit like Carson Wentz, I think, isn't he? It's a bit like he likes hero ball. It's just dangerous. I would rather have Carson Wentz, but I was going to say I couldn't watch Danny Dimes week in week out on my team, but I feel like the heart attack will come regardless.
Yeah. So I mean, we all went for the Chiefs in this one. Although
my margin was frustratingly close again.
It was, yeah. It was a really good prediction, 3 points, which is correct, but not quite.
I had more faith
the right
in score points.
You did. You had a lot more faith in it being a closer game than Ross and I. Ross and I expecting 3-point scores, so we were clearly wrong. And this offense is just not really clicking the way that it has in previous years. But no real shock on the result, despite the Chiefs struggling this year. And then for the top fantasy point scorer of the week, Nate, you went for Kyler Murray. He put up a dud.
He was looking good for me though, until last night.
And then until last night, myself, I went for Tyreek Hill, who scored 27, which is like top 6 or 7. And then Ross went for Justin Jefferson, who got a measly 4 against this strangely stout Cowboys defense / Kirk Cousins in prime time effect, which that happens every time. So he should have seen that coming, I think. So I get the bonus point there for Tyreek Hill. I was praying that
I forget who was the top scorer from our
Michael
games.
Carter, running back from the New York Jets, was the top scorer. No
one
it
was AJ Brown.
Would see it coming.
It was AJ Brown.
No,
from our slate of games.
Oh, from our slate of games. Good point. Yeah,
it was AJ Brown put up 30.
AJ Brown
4 or something against the Colts.
Yeah. So Tyreek Hill, I was praying for a last-minute touchdown when on one of those last drives, and that would have got me the win. But alas, it's just the 1 point. So after this week, Nate, you got 3, and Ross and I both got 5, albeit through different means.
Frank Reich.
That means that Nate, you move up to 40, I move up to 44, and Ross is on 60. We need to.
Yeah, I mean, he's running away. He's running away with it. I've hauled you back in. You got to 10 points. You got to a 10-point advantage a couple of weeks ago over me, and I was like, I might as well give up. But I'm slowly dragging myself back into the picture for the runners-up spot, which is the one we really want. Really, like he wants to win this.
That's the one that really matters between us two, definitely.
Absolutely.
I think I've been doing some wild punts, thinking I need to try and catch Ross out, and in fact I've been doing the wild punts and the wrong ones. But anything can happen on any given Sunday. All the backups were actually pretty decent this last week, so it's kind of hard to predict, really. And talking of backups and being hard to predict, let's have a look at week 9. So first game of the week is, I don't know what's happened with the schedulers this year. They've some reason they've put the Colts on prime time again.
Three times. This is never 3 times this year. It's weird.
This is unreal.
It's
very weird.
I'm not complaining.
So we've got the Jets at Colts on Friday, 1:20 a.m. Nate, I imagine you're backing your Colts.
Yeah, I'm going Colts, 14 points to 30. Say what you want about Carson Wentz. Say what you want about Frank Reich. We played the number 1 seed in the AFC this weekend, and we should have won that game. Don't care what people say about that. We should have won that game. We were 14 points up. allowing that to slip against any team in the league, which is not the first time we've done it. We did it against Baltimore as well. It's shithousing at its worst. We'll win this. The Jets suck. What else is there to say? I don't care that they won this week. Fuck them. Colts will smash them.
So I will say that the Titans were tied for first with the Cincinnati Bengals. They were tied with the Cincinnati Bengals, who just got beaten by the Jets. Yeah. The Jets are a very weird team. It means that they've beaten the Titans and they've beaten the Bengals. Yeah. Will they add the Colts to this list? I think not. I still think the Colts have too much for the Jets to really compete. I'll give them a 2-score difference. I think anything less might be slightly offensive to them. I've gone for 17 points to 31. I think the run game is going to be the difference for the Colts. Michael Pittman's having a great season through the air. From a fantasy perspective, he's top 10 in PPR. And this is the start of the easier slate of games for the Colts. We knew the first few weeks, 5, 6, 7 weeks, were going to be pretty rough.
Historically rough. It's like this start. It's the hardest 5 opening games since 1970 for any team. So it's historically rough.
So this is their chance to start the second half of the season, which is second half of the season now, on the right foot, and this is where the Colts start to build their push for the playoffs, I think, and no better place than to start it at home against the Jets. Ross has unsurprisingly also gone for the Jets. He's gone for 10 points to 31. Our scores are all very close together. He says that the Jets have pulled out a couple of miracle wins this year, but the Colts have shown me enough to think they'll quietly go about their business over the next month or so, which is very similar to what we just said, and stay in the wild card hunt. I think, actually, just to comment on that, with Derrick Henry going out, such a big part of the Titans' offense, there isn't even a chance that if the Titans struggle and the Colts win the majority, if not all their games, there's even a chance
there's any chance the Colts win the AFC South.
I still think they got a chance. We've got some
really difficult games still to go.
I'd need to look at
Bills, Bucks, Pats, who are defensively very tough team to beat, and the Cardinals and the Raiders.
Okay, wildcard's looking an option. I'm convinced. Let's move on to Sunday. Back at 6 p.m. Daylight saving only saved us a week. And we have the Browns at Bengals. Oh, this is a horrible one. I hate predicting the Browns because whenever I back them, they lose. And whenever I don't, they win. So let's start with Ross. He's gone for the Browns at 27 to 23. He says, I have no idea why. I just think the division is going to be weird the whole year. And it is, and that mirrors exactly what I was just saying. Despite that, I've gone for the Bengals to win 20 points to 30. The one thing I do like about this Bengals team is the offense. I said last week that their defense was sneaky good, and they lost to the Jets. So apologies, Cincinnati Bengal fans, I've done it again. But I think this is their turn. The fact that there's no better kick up the backside than a loss to the New York Jets. The offense is still good. Cleveland have been struggling to move the ball. Baker's not looking quite right. They're not quite the same without that combination of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So I think they're going to put up points, but I don't think they're going to put up enough to compete with this Bengals offense, which is just it's running like a well-oiled machine at the moment. So 20 points to 30 to the Bengals.
I have literally just flipped my prediction. I did go with the Bengals originally. I had put 28-17, I think. But I still think the Bengals. I still expect.
They're still Cincinnati.
They're still the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
They're still the Bengals, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before this run ends and it comes crashing down. I just can't call them a good football team. It just doesn't. It feels wrong, I think the Browns are a better football team, so I think they win this 24 points to 21. I I don't know where. I can't. I actually can't call it, but I have to put something. So that's what I'm going with. I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. Which is
if you called a tie after overtime and it happened, I'll give you 10 points.
I tell you what. Yeah, I was about to say if at any point in the rest of the season we predict a tie and it happens, you get a bonus 10 points because that's fucking insane. Because ties don't happen unless you're the Eagles.
Yeah, but one thing I will say about the Bengals is that they have turned up for the big games. They've beaten the Ravens and Bills from memory, or Titans, one of them. So they've had a couple of big games, and they've won. I think this is another big game for the Bengals. They're at home. I think this could be another one where we see the best of the Bengals rather than the game against the Jets.
Yeah, I just lean into more Ross's train of thought about the fact that the AFC North is just
unpredictable. Yeah, and that's completely fair.
It's a division where sense goes to die, isn't
it? Fantastic summary. Moving on, we'll look at Sunday, 9:25 p.m. in the UK. We've got the no longer undefeated Arizona Cardinals looking to bounce back in San Francisco against the 49ers. Nate, who have you got?
I've got the Cardinals bouncing back. 31 points to 19. The 49ers, I've been saying this all year. People in the off-season were like, oh, the 49ers are going to be back. They're going to be good. And I was just like, I don't know what you're saying. They are rubbish. And they are still rubbish. The Colts absolutely wiped the floor with them in a monsoon. It was a really difficult game to play, but the Colts played that fantastically. I mean, Carson Wentz was able to throw the ball very well that game. The Niners are a bad football team. Bad on both sides of the ball. They're going to do that. I mean, I think I'm being a little bit.
Harsh.
No, I think I'm being a little bit overly generous in saying they're going to score 19 points. Quite frankly, but here we are.
Well, I don't think the Niners are as bad as you're making out.
They are.
I still think they've got a decent run game. Elijah Mitchell, who was 6th rounder, no one expected anything from him when Raheem Mostert went out. Trey Sermon's done hardly anything. He's had a couple of 100-yard rushing games already. He had a good game against the
Colts. Very good game against the Colts, but he's the only player.
Yeah, if they actually continue to give him the ball, he probably would have ended up with over 150, but this system in San Francisco is just that's not what they do. They want to give Jermichael Hasty a bit of the ball and whoever else, Trey Sermon, whoever they've got in the backfield. So I think they will put up some points against the Cardinals. I just think that for the 49ers to win, the game has to go a very particular way and everything has to align for Jimmy G to actually make that happen. And I don't get fooled by him having 2 rushing touchdowns.
As soon as Trey Lance is healthy, Jimmy G's out. He's gone. It's curtains.
I'm not sure. I thought it would have happened by now, but with Trey Lance being out.
But Lance has been injured a lot, hasn't he? So
yeah, yeah. But needs to say, I've gone with the Cardinals as well, bouncing back. I think they've got too much on offense. The defense generally is better. And the 49ers defense, as you mentioned just then, the Colts gave the 49ers a bit of a tear through the air as well in the monsoon. And I think the Cardinals' weapons are better than the Colts. And that's not
the Colts don't have any wide outs. They've got Michael Pittman and that's it. No one else wide playing catching the ball.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, we can look at their offense and say DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been as good as you'd expect.
They got weapons.
And he's sort of head and shoulders above what you'd have expected probably from Pittman and co at the Colts. So, I got the Cardinals bouncing back 28 points to 20. I think 20 is actually quite a fair score. 19-20, like you said, 19 for the Niners. I think that sort of area is realistic for them. Ross disagrees in that. He's only given them 13 and the Cardinals winning with 24. He says Arizona get back on track and just put about 49's 2021 playoffs hopes to bed. That is probably true because there's an awful lot of teams with very good records in the NFC this year. There must be sort of like 4 or 5 teams that have sort of like 6-1, 7-1 type records. So that is probably very true. Moving on to Sunday, we have a very interesting game, but would have been more interesting with Derrick Henry. it's the Tennessee Titans at the LA Rams, and that's on Monday at 1:20 a.m. UK time. So Ross, he's gone for the Rams as well. Or not as well. He's gone for the Rams. That's a bit of a spoiler, but you know what's happening now. Rams 24 points to 30. He says he still thinks the Titans' offense can score points without Henry, but the Rams are just hitting their stride, in his opinion. And this Rams team don't seem to be firing quite as much as I'd like them to against some of the better teams. Like, anyone can put up points against the Houston Texans, but well, not anyone, but most teams can. And I think that the Titans have been actually better on defense. Might need to downgrade them actually a little bit on this. Just thinking. I've also gone for the Rams. I'm going to go for 17 points to 26. I don't know if I can get 26, but I'm going to go 26. I imagine you can.
That's a lot of
some way, shape, or form.
I mean, that's two touchdowns and like 5 field goals, 5-40.
Or a missed extra point.
Yeah.
Or McVay loves it. McVay loves a 2-point conversion attempt. And
you can get there. It's just it's mental gymnastics, but McVay is the man to do it. McVay or Shanahan, right?
Yeah,
they're the two coaches that are going to get there.
Right. What are those wild cards? So yeah, I'm going to go Rams 17-26. I think they are better than they actually are. Like, in my mind, I just think that they could really be running away with the NFC, but there's something not quite clicking. And the Titans have been better on defense over the last few weeks. Derrick Henry's a loss, but I still think they're going to put up some points. AJ Brown, top point scorer from our slate last week, so he could do it again.
Yeah, I've gone with the Rams, 33 points to 17. People forget how bad this Titans defense actually is. Their offense wins them games, and their defense kind of keeps them in it, so that their offense can win them the games, but only just about. They're just bad. Like, they're not good. If you let Carson Boozy ass Wentz put up 31 points on you, you're not a good defense. Just the way it is, quite frankly. And I think the Rams will win this one pretty comfortably because Carson's out. I think they're a very, it's not Carson there because Derrick Henry's out. They're a very one-dimensional unit on offense. You know, it's give Derrick Henry the ball, play action, which you have to give Derrick Henry all the attention, which then opens up AJ Brown or Ferkser or Julio when he plays his 4 snaps a game. Without that weaponry, without that play action, which is a real killer, it's absolutely devastating, that play action. Without that, what do? They brought in Adrian Peterson, who's like 36 and has got 4 yards in him. Who cares? Like, it's not going to go well. I think I might have been generous giving them 17 points. Right.
I've gone 17
as much as I don't like the Titans, I'm a big fan of a lot of what they do. I was saying a couple of weeks ago that Derrick Henry is the only candidate that should be considered for MVP, quite frankly. Obviously, now it's not going to happen. But he's confidently the best player in the league. Like, there's no, like, people go, "Oh, Donald, no, get out of bed, watch some football." Derrick Henry is so much more efficient at what he does than Aaron Donald is. It's not even close. It's ridiculous. He is just the best. I like Ryan Tannehill. Like, he sells the play actions incredibly well. He's really good at scrambling, and he is dangerous through the air. He can hit players. I just don't think they've got enough. The Rams have got a really good defense, and it's slightly better now that they've added Von Miller. Probably, maybe even not. I'm dubious, to be honest, but they've got a really good defense. They're going to shut it down, and they're not going to. The Titans are going to struggle. It's just how it is.
Yeah, but one thing I'd say about the Adrian Peterson addition is that I guess he's a similar sort of style runner to Derrick Henry.
He was.
So, but he's not been training with anyone. He's just been on the street. So how easily can he hit the road?
And I love the idea of like Mike Rabel pulling up in a Cadillac, rolling down the windows like Adrian Peterson will run for money. Like,
Yeah. I thought you were going to say with the Zimmer frame then, with that first motion, but either or works. Let's move on to Monday Night Football. We have quite a gritty game in Bears at Steelers, Tuesday, 1:15 a.m. UK time. Nate, who have you got in this?
This might be the worst primetime game ever.
Industrial
this might be the
game.
worst primetime game ever. It's absolutely. I mean, it's just dog shit, isn't it? Steelers at Bears. I've gone for the Steelers, 20 points to 13. Genuinely, half the points I've said could be scored. Like that's how bad these two teams are.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers have been improving, actually. To give them a due, they've been improving. Not massively. They've not been made great leaps, but they are slowly getting better. Big Ben's been playing better football than he did through the first 3 or 4 weeks. They found that running game slightly. It could be a little. I could be being a little bit harsh on the Steelers, but yeah, 13 points to 20. Steelers win. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, so I think that I need a bit of a difference maker here on this week. So I'm going for the Bears, 17 points to 14. I think we saw a little bit of a coming of age from Justin Fields last week. He had an amazing, was meant to be a 4th and 1 run, ended up in a touchdown. It went one way, nope, road closed, tried to go through the middle, nope, not available. Went completely round to the left, and we saw him scramble, which he definitely has in his locker. We hadn't really seen yet in the NFL really anything wow. And it was a bit of a wow moment. Okay, they did lose the game, but I thought they put up a good performance. The Steelers' offense is not great. I know what you're saying about Big Ben, but I still think it leaves a lot to be desired. And I actually quite like this Bears defense. They very rarely get blown away or put up that many points against them when the offense has actually given them a bit of a chance to it's not just turnovers here, there, left, right, and centre like it was against the Buccaneers. That was an odd game. So I think the Bears have a chance. They're in with a sniff, I'd say. I know it's in Pittsburgh, but I'm going to give them 3 points on the road, winning 17 points to 14.
Insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane. Do it. No, I'm glad that you're giving me a good chance to catch up.
Well, you're welcome.
Points, quite frankly.
And Ross, he also disagrees with me, although he does agree that it's going to be close. He's gone for the Steelers, 20 points to 23. He says, I hate this game and I will not watch it. Hopefully the Steelers pick me up some points. I regrettably will watch it, but 40-minute condensed game is probably 37 minutes, probably too many for me.
I will watch the 10 minutes Tyler highlights, and I might not scrape it through all of that.
I don't know. By the time we get round to Tuesday, I'm pretty desperate for football again. So I guess you got to take what you've got, and that's what's served up on this horrendous restaurant's evening. So that's all the games. Let's talk about fantasy. Top point scorer from those slate of games.
So we're supposed to be doing it that the lowest scorer gets first dibs now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I will make my pick because I came in bottom of the pack as usual. Cooper Kupp. He's just going to ice these tits, and he's going to put 2 touchdowns, 150 yards on the board, and he's going to sail through. He's already beaten his yardage. He's already beaten his fantasy points tally for 2020 this year.
I think he was injured last year.
Through 8 weeks.
Yeah.
208 points last year, 213 so far this year, something like that.
Yeah, I like it. I've gone with Cooper Kupp a couple of times, and whenever I've gone for him, it's not worked out. So, yeah, good luck to you. I wish I had him. In fantasy, to be honest. I'm going for a different fantasy superstar who I've not gone near so far this season, but I predicted a high-scoring game. So why not go all in? I've gone for rookie Jamar Chase for the Cincinnati Bengals. I've said that I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think Jamar Chase, he's been, in many cases, the over-the-top guy. But then this week we saw, a short target, like a 2-yard touchdown. So I think they're trying to do a bit more variation between Burrow and Chase. They've obviously got a great connection from college, and it's continued in the NFL. So I think this is a good opportunity for him to snag me the points. And then Ross has gone for, this is an interesting pick, Najee Harris. And he said, I hate the Monday Night Football game, but not all the players in it. I like Harris a lot, and I think the first round pick could have a good game in the national spotlight. And one thing that the Steelers do a lot, this is not my comment, that they do is that Big Ben checks down a hell of a lot. So in PPR scoring, Najee Harris is always at least like a banker, probably to at least be a top 20 running back, maybe top 10 nearly every single week because their offense stinks. And it's just a good option for Big Ben. So I think that is a dangerous pick, I think.
Yeah, it is a dangerous pick. He made that pick before. He actually made that pick before I had the chance to make mine. I'll let him off.
Scandal.
I'll let him off this week because he's not here. But in future, wind your neck in, lad.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. Yeah, no, I really like that pick. It's not what I would have made myself, but it is a good pick. He's right. I just have serious doubts whether they can put up the volume to get him the points. That's why I wouldn't pick him. I like the Jamar Chase pick as well, but with me thinking now suddenly that the Browns are going to win that game, I doubt whether he can quite make it. But, he could be the difference maker in that game quite easily.
Yeah. I'm hoping so. For 2 reasons now. So, interesting that neither of us went for Kyler Murray in quite an interesting matchup against the 49ers. But I think you've been burned last week, and I can understand why you didn't go back there.
Yeah, I almost did put Kyler Murray again, but I got burned last week, and it's going to be a little while before I dip my toes into the Kyler fire again.
Fair enough. So, that's us all set for the coming week. Another week of exciting action. Any last words, Nate?
Fuck the Titans. And fuck the Jets.
Beautiful. So, as always, if you've enjoyed the show, please drop us a comment, a like. Please feel free to subscribe. Up to you. Love to have you along for the ride as we go through the season. Please also check out our podcast, which is available in all places you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Pods, Amazon Music, etc., etc. Give us a follow on Twitter at Tough Show Official, or come join us on our Discord community and talk football with some other football fans in the UK and further afield. So all those details are available on the Twitter and below. So thank you for joining us, and let's enjoy another week of football. Thank you, and bye-bye.